Welcome to the Rewards Master Live. These are what I call my live extras. And usually they end up falling on a Friday night, but because of just a crazy schedule in March, I'm having to adjust things around. And so tonight I had a few minutes before I take Nona out. We're celebrating some stuff in our life. So before I take her out for some city nights a little bit later tonight, I thought I could fit in a live for about an hour. So that's what we're going to do. Well, let's see who's here so far. I think we've got a few who are on here. I know Mike Newland, great supporter of the channel, great friend, and great even a spreadsheet warrior, not just a channel member. He's the high-level channel member. So good to have you, Mike. And I think I said in one of the comments right below that I'm going to be featuring one of your comments / critiques that was put on one of my videos this week. So I appreciated it. We'll get to that in a little bit. Free Music 7307 says, hello, Bop. Hey, Free Music. Good to have you here tonight. Good to have you here. Nemo Los Angeles says hello. Hey, Nemo. Good to have you here. FLXNY says, good evening, all. Glad to be here with you. Good to have you here. And Sleepy Rod is here as well. Says Dugras has the best Rewards Master impression. Did he do one today? I didn't get to see it. I was on an airplane this morning, so I didn't get to see. Tell me what you mean, Sleepy Rod. I got to know. He did an impression of the Rewards Master. I got to check that out. Good evening, Bopster. Hey, I like that Bopster moniker. That's pretty good. Big JP channel member. Great to have you here. And Nick says, curious to see your view of City not allowing points transfers to player 2, Bop. Yeah, I was going to talk about that a little bit. So give me a minute and we'll get into it. Hunter McDonald, good to have you here, Hunter. Thoughts on Chase's value now Hyatt got devalued and where to pivot for better value? Well, I'll go ahead and address that now. I think that the kind of the 1-2 punch of built, and then after that having this massive, and it is a massive devaluation with Hyatt. I think Chase is probably just right above Wells Fargo now as far as their value, because yes, they do have some Aeroplan and some other good transfer partners. Some people would argue that United is an okay transfer partner, and they still, I mean, we can't honestly say that Hyatt's going to be worse than Hilton or Marriott, but it's just not the crazy good value it was before. That was everybody's excuse to go chase all the way. So I think that honestly, they're behind the game on earnings. They're behind the game on sign-up bonuses because they've shut down. That's one thing they were great at before too. You could run the ink train. You could, every 48 months you could downgrade your Sapphire card and get another one. They've shut all that down. So they're not the points parade they used to be. They've never been great earners. And now they don't have the best partners. So I think Chase, and I don't know if Chase will do anything about it or not. I think ultimately they will, because depends on how many people peel off from Chase to other issuers and other ecosystems. So we'll see about that. Excuse me. All right, Juan Garcia. Hey, Juan, channel member. Good to have you here tonight. Stinky Monkey Baby, best name on YouTube, channel member. Rewards Master has summoned us to gather today for this fruitful Sunday. Well, it's not Sunday yet here, but yeah, it's a Sunday, not a Sunday. How's that? We'll call it that. A-Tier's a channel member. Good to have you here. Good every evening, everyone. I almost missed the live. Love the city nights. Maybe I'll get to do those one of these days when we break into city. Actually, Nona and I have a reservation at 7:30. So as soon as I'm done with this live, I'm taking her out. We're celebrating in our life. So we're going to go out for city nights to the best steakhouse in town and have a great time tonight. So I'm glad you brought up city nights. We're going to do that. Whip out the old Strata Elite card tonight. All right. LG is here. Says, hey, Bop and everyone. Good to have you here, LG. Spartan Finance just canceled the worst card I ever owned. Amex Business Green, total trash. I canceled it a month and a half ago. I just did it because I was hoping they'd give me an upgrade offer, and they never did. So I wasted that $95 annual fee. I'm with you, Spartan. That card is the worst card. It's the worst card. Background balloon. Fire. Good to have you here. Nuracan, how's it all going? Good to have you here, Nuracan. And FL New York says, I hope Chase has been pushed enough to finally make changes. Well, we will see. We will see. That's the question of questions, isn't it? Okay, background balloon. My hot take on the Hyatt deval is mildly overblown. It's no longer amazing value on cent per point, but it's still pretty good value. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. It's still better. I think it's still going to be better than Hilton and Marriott, depending on how many points you can earn. That's going to be the real question, because the cent per point value is still going to be better than those other two. But like with Hilton, you can rack up points so fast. So that's kind of going to be the question, is this deval, even though it's still going to be better, is it going to be enough better to overcome the difficulty in earning points? That's going to be, at least in my mind, the question. Background balloon. I don't think Chase will change because not many people are going to leave Chase. Yeah. I mean, I think they have a lot of customers that don't really understand points and miles that well. That they have a lot of casual points and miles people, and those people might not notice. And that's, I think, background balloon, you have a good point there. Nice to jump in. This is Miles and Stays, channel member. Good to have you here, though a little bit late. Not much. You're only 6 minutes behind the start time. Spartan Finance been abusing that City Nights every weekend. 6X. Yep. Like I said, we're going to go. That'll probably be $120 bill, and we're going to go enjoy us an awesome, 16-ounce ribeye. At least that's what I'm going to order. So, and then my friend Mike Newland, great supporter of the channel member himself, gifted 10 Rewards Master memberships. Thank you, Mike. And I know that 10 people are going to be very, very grateful for that as well. So if you receive one of those memberships, make sure to put something in the chat down below so we can express that gratitude to Mike. All right, FLX New York. Thanks, Mike Newland. Much appreciated. Got one. Lots of Hyatt points can be earned through Bilt. Yep. Yeah, I mean, I think Bilt's a better way to earn them. I mean, because Bilt doesn't have great sign-up bonuses, but neither does Chase anymore. You can't just do that points parade, so that's true. LG 1914 channel member says, thanks to Mike Newland, so brand newly minted channel member. That's awesome. Money Miles Maven, good to have you. That's a cool name, Money Miles Maven. All right. Moving away from chasing points and churning cards, Bilt, baby, Bilt is my daily driver. Closing, consolidating all my low CL cards and going ultra prime profile for 2026. Yeah, I was talking to Nona today. We were on a flight this morning out seeing family out west and flew back, and we were talking on the airplane and on the drive back to our place. And I was telling her, I said, you won't believe how many Bilt points we earned in 1 month. It was just, it's crazy good. So I get you. Mike Newland, soak up his members only videos. Yeah, everybody, there's several on there. I'm a little behind on this week's. I hope to put one out probably tomorrow for this last week, and I'm trying to stay up with one a week. But I will tell y'all, the reason I'm doing this tonight instead of last night is because I won't be able to have one tomorrow either. So this is when I could fit it in the middle. So I've been out west visiting family. My son had some issues, and I had to go out and help him with his house and see my grandson too. So that was pretty wonderful. And then I flew back today, and next week I'm heading to Central America for work. And then I fly back, and then I'm flying to the creator meetup in Sacramento the next week. So I am on a crazy travel schedule this next couple of weeks, but I do have some videos made, and I think as long as I can keep up with editing, I think I'll still be able to have videos out, but I'm just going to be able to fit in lives when I can. So I hope y'all will forgive me for that. And hopefully in April, I'll be more back on track. I might even try to do one from Central America while I'm down there working. So, Spartan of Finance, got to do a 24-ounce porterhouse. Yeah, baby. Or how about a tomahawk steak? I love those, man. Isaac says, thinking about getting Amex Platinum if I can make credits work, but don't travel a lot. If you don't travel a lot, it's hard, but the credits are awesome. One of my videos that's going to be coming out this week is how I've totally changed on the Amex Platinum. So back when it was $6.95, I was not a big fan. I never was even pushed to get it. But since the $8.95, the bump in fee and all those extra credits, I mean, we took and we went to the mall and went to Lululemon. I've never used it before. We used the Lululemon credit day before yesterday. Bought our daughter-in-law some of those pants that daughter-in-laws like, and it was just it was a blast. And so, and she's like, you get how much off of this? And it was fun. So I'm liking the credits, the FHR going up. The Resi is super easy to use. It's great stuff. Mike Newland, Built is the best ecosystem today. And I say to that, amen. I cheer it. That's absolutely where it is. And even I got to say, I love my city. And I'm sticking with city because like tonight, I'm going to get city nights. The rest of the time we dine out a lot. But pretty much city is becoming just my airfare. And that's when I don't put it on the MX Platinum, but my airfare and my dining. That's what city's going to be. And gas, because I can't get 5X gas. Well, and home improvement stores. Okay, I got some custom caches. So that there's city in there too. But I mean, I don't see how anybody can do better than the Built Palladium as your catch-all card, because I'm getting like 3.5 cents and more, 3.5 points per dollar and more on that as a catch-all. So if it ain't for, that's what I keep saying, and I know I harp on this all the time, but if it ain't 4X or 5X, it's irrelevant today in points and miles. And the other card companies need to get on board. If Built ends up being sustainable, it's going to change everything for the better. So all these devaluations, like it was mentioned, city's not going to let you transfer to family members anymore as of in May, I think it is. That we've never done that. I mean, but we always knew we could because of the 90-day expiration they had on it. It was kind of a pain anyway. But yeah, there's that devaluation, the Hyatt devaluation. There's all these. And it just seems like everything's bad news, bad news, bad news. And my channel would probably do better if I only reported bad news because that seems to get more clicks. But I'm optimistic about the future if Built survives. I think some of these companies, I think Chase and maybe Amex, they're going to just stick the course for a while and hope that Built folds because they're probably doing the math. We're all doing the math. How on earth are they making this work? But they're getting lots of spend. They're getting lots of spend because they have found a way to motivate spend on their cards. I was telling Nona in our drive today, I said, used to we would just get cards and hit the sign-up bonus and then they wouldn't get used much anymore except for specialty reasons. But now there's a card that we want to use and use and use. I mean, I think it's going to work. Spartan of Finance says, I went to the Amex account and I see no points offer for the Platy. Never had it. Any personal cards from them. They seem to be cracking down. Yeah, it was hard. I've never had a personal platinum. Still can't get it. I've tried 3 times in the last year and I'm in pop-up jail. Don't know how to get out. But we got it with Nona, but it was hard. I mean, we had to call in and get it. I guess you'd call that a reconsideration, but it was an identity, making sure and all that. It was hard. I think they're cracking down. And I think their points parade it's not dried up, but it's like, for instance, I got a mailer today for the business gold card. And the business gold card was giving me last year 200 and 250, maybe 225. I don't know, but a whole lot of points. Well, it's down to 125,000 points, at least the mailer I just got. So I think that's drying up a little bit. Dim, hey, Dim, channel member says, how do you get a gifted membership when you're not in a live? Thanks, Mike. Well, I don't know how that works, but I've seen that happen. I've personally gotten those before, and I think it's just creators that you watch a lot. Maybe the algorithm knows you or something. So that's probably it. P-Mart Supermart says, got a zero welcome offer for the Amex Platinum. Taking this personal. Yeah, got a zero welcome offer. Yeah, that's no fun at all. And then let's see, Juan Garcia. Hey, Juan. Going hard with City as a daily driver, 5X on custom cash for groceries and gas, 3 CSP for dining and everything else on Palladium. Yeah, my setup is exactly that way. That way, not groceries. We do Walmart on groceries, so the Palladium's better than anything else. But custom caches for gas. Like I said, I live on a farm, so I go to home improvement stores literally all the time. So that, and then I have the Prestige, so 5X, and I have the Elite, so 5 or 6X on dining. So very similar. Everything else on the Palladium. Free music, Amex Platinum isn't worth it if you can't naturally use the hotel credits. Yeah. I don't think the hotel credits are the only thing that's easy good credits. I think the Resi credit's really good too. We're going to see, I've heard some reports recently that the travel bank's working again. So that if that happens, then that makes the credit for airlines really good as well. And that digital entertainment credit, that's just like something we were spending money on anyway. I mean, grandkids got to have their Disney Plus when they come over. So that I think it's got good credits, but you're right. It's a lot of money for a card. So you gotta track it, and you got to be the right kind of person. FLX New York says, given you're a college professor, is your work travel to conferences? Yeah, I'm going to speak to something in Central America. The branch campuses around different places. This is actually with a different school that I'm going and connected with. So yes. Mike Newland, you're welcome. Says you're welcome to Dem. Dem visiting family in New York this weekend. Hope you're all doing great. We're doing great, Dem. Good to see you. I hope you're gonna go use some city nights tonight. Well, you might not have that card. You might just be using your Prestige. So Chad, hey Chad, good to have you here. Sleepy Rod, I don't know what to say with Chase at this point other than just brand loyalty. What do they offer that Bilt doesn't? Nothing. I mean, brand loyalty is where it's at for people. I guess that's all it is. Oh, and tell me again about that impression that was done. I want to go back and watch that. Was that on Dugraz's live today? I got to check that out. FLX. If you did not have so many credits and free night certs, how would you pay for your hotel stays? By points, cash? I'd stay in cheaper hotels and I'd pay cash probably, because I think that hotels, we have found that when we do overseas travel some, and when it comes to hotels, we like boutique hotels, and generally they're not that expensive. We stayed in a place called Athens 21 in Athens, Greece, like 2 or 3 years ago. And it was just a little boutique hotel, probably had 30 rooms. We got their suite because it was cheap. It was like $130 a night or something for the suite. Big, nice, 1-bedroom suite. And then I think we're on floor 3. On floor 5, their top floor, they had a little, I don't know, bar restaurant up there. And they had a terrace with a perfect view of the Parthenon, all lit up at night. And Nona and I, we love that hotel as much as we've loved just about any of the high-end hotels we've stayed in. So it wouldn't ruin our world if we didn't have those free night certs, and if we didn't have, the different credits, FHR and all that. We like them. And especially for her channel, we've been doing a lot of reviews of those things because she's excited to get that going. By the way, if you haven't been over there, Away Again Travels with Nona and Bop, please go. She's stagnated at 135 subscribers. So we're trying to get that up. So if you wouldn't mind going over there, we've got a few more coming out. I know we did the Crockfords in Vegas. That's going to be coming out. So check that out. But we love those credits and things. But if we didn't have them, we would have a great time still staying in some of those boutique hotels. That's probably what we'd do. Yuri, hey, Yuri, good to have you here. Hey, Bob, happy Saturday. After Chad's cold shower stream came for some optimism in the credit card world. Well, I just got done saying, Yuri, that I mean, I think Bilt's changing the game, and if they survive, they're going to change it for the better. Because frankly, they'll be the only credit card company if people, I mean, if the masses. Now, I understand a lot of people aren't deep into it like we are, especially you are, and they won't know. But if people catch on from word of mouth or whatever, that they can get so many more points, then the others will have to step up or they'll be irrelevant. So that's my optimism, and I believe it. All right, Chad says, LOL. James says, I got an offer from BBC, 750 cash, 4,000 spend, business card. I decided to get the card. I'm still in personal pop-up jail. Okay, so the Blue Business Cash, that's the one that doesn't earn MR points, right? So I have the Blue Business Plus, which I think a lot of people do, that does. But yeah, I mean, I think it's amazing how they just hand out business cards still to people they won't give a personal card to. But I'm in the same boat as you. Free music. I was getting a 50K platinum offer, upgrade offer 6 months ago, but not getting any upgrade offers today. I'm in the same boat. I checked my business gold today. No offers. Jay Carlos, channel member, says Palladium and City all the way, holding gold because credits are easy enough, but little spend on it. Yeah, the gold card is a good card. I mean, it is for the right person. It's just the credits are irrelevant to me. I mean, we do Walmart and we get 3.5 with Built Palladium on that. And I get better dining multipliers on my other cards than Forex. So yeah, that's why I end up canceling it, because it was utterly irrelevant. James says, I never got my travel bank cash from 210, 100, and 100. Do you think it works now? I mean, I can't tell you for sure. I've heard a few reports that it does, but I've heard reports just like yours that it doesn't. So, I mean, it's for this, how I would look at it, I'm not losing the money to throw $50 in there and try. You know, I've already got mine this year. So, and we did a different airline on Nona, so can't do it with that one. But if I hadn't already gotten mine this year, I'd be doing $50 here and there, because I don't see Travel Bank as losing the money. I see it as just shifting the money, I guess is how I'd look at it. But I mean, your miles may vary. James says, hey, Professor, I'm a bit bored watching from beginning, but wanted to see what's up. Hey, good to have you here, James. Robert says, good afternoon and happy Saturday. Happy Saturday to you. Good to have you here with us. We got 52 people watching in here, and that's awesome. 23 have hit the like button, so do that if you haven't. Any of the gifted memberships or any of the super chat, super stickers, that all helps the algorithm as well. All right. James says, oh, I just read that one. Guess I should pay more attention. All right, here we go. Free music, hit that like button. Yep, thank you. Robert says, say that hotel name again. Heading to Italy in May. Okay, it's in Athens, Greece, and it's called Athens 21. Athens 21. And it's just a little boutique hotel. It does give free breakfast in their little restaurant downstairs. It was, not fancy, but it was a good restaurant. This is not a high-end fancy hotel. It's a boutique hotel. But if you can book their suite, they have one. If you can book it, we had a great time. I mean, it was great. Like I said, it's not the Conrad, it's not a Waldorf, but what a view. You'll be blown away by the view every night. Jessica, hey, good to have you, Jessica, channel member. Happy Saturday. So much good news, in my opinion, this week. Marriott free night tops going up to 25K, and new Marriott bonuses, a big boost for me in player 2. Yeah, okay. 25K. Yeah, I saw that. And I thought that was a good thing for people who use a lot of Marriott certs. It's going to be good for us with our Ritz-Carlton card, because that'll take the 85 up to what? 110, is that right? So yeah, that's a good bonus. And I don't do a lot of hotel cards, but I think that is a good offer on a Marriott card. James says, hopefully Amex is fixing the green card in 26. Yeah, but what can they do? If they leave everything at 3X, is irrelevant. Like I said, everything 3 and down is irrelevant now. I mean, if people can get the Palladium card. But yeah, I hope so. Maybe they're going to have several Forex categories. That would be awesome. Background balloon. Had no idea you were a professor. What subject do you teach? I teach, let's see, I do several. I teach history. That's what my PhD is in history and heritage and culture, stuff like that. I teach religious history. I teach some theology. I teach some ethics and philosophy as well. So several different things through the years, but mostly history and theology right now. All right, Nuracan opened an E-Trade account, hoping to get approved for the Morgan Stanley Platinum. Yeah, I hope you do too. I have an E-Trade account that I've had for a long time, and I tried it again, pop-up jail. This November, I'm also on their pop-up on their personal side. Keep getting offers on the business side, though. Yeah, I don't know how to get out. I mean, I've tried the things people say, put spend on the card, all that. So I have no advice on that. I hope it works for you, though. Robert says, thanks. Doing a cruise out of Greece. We booked a small boutique hotel with 37 rooms right now. Yeah, I mean, I hope you like, if you do Athens 21, I hope you love it. The view was just so romantic and so fun, and it was a cool place to stay. All right, so I think I'm caught up on comments now. Okay, I got to warn everybody tonight, and some of y'all who are in here right now, your comments are featured tonight. Because I have never, even though it didn't perform that well, this video didn't get a lot of views. It's like number 9 out of my last 10 as far as view count. But I did a video called Unpopular Opinions. And oh boy, oh baby, did I get the opinions. I mean, in return to my opinions. The one that was most intense or passionate for people cracked me up. I thought it's just some little pet peeve of mine that I talked about, and I'll mention it in a second, but it kind of cracked me up because I'm like, wow, that's the one that got people really going, but really all of them did. And it's things you've heard on my channel a million times. I think cents per point do matter. I think it's a real metric that should be considered. That was one of them. I think effective annual fees are a real thing and shouldn't be ignored. Like sometimes it's said in the community, effective annual fees, that's not a real thing. Well, I think they are. Several things like that. Points hoarding, that one got a lot of ire from people, but I think that points, there's a place for hoarding points. And y'all know this because I do a lot of changes, last minute changes on my flights, canceling and rebooking, canceling, rebooking. You got to have a lot of points to do that. So those were all opinions. They're just opinions. I mean, they're not facts. They're the way I view it from my perspective, but I thought it'd be a fun video. But boy, howdy, did it really have a viral response as far as the people, not that very many people watched it, but the people who did, I got so many comments and a lot of disagreements. And on these comments lives that I do, I want to be transparent. I want to share the times when people say, yeah, you were right. And I also want to share, and I try to do that, share the objections. And when people say, nah, you missed it on this one, Bop, because I do miss it sometimes. And I do change my mind sometimes because I think if we're going to be growing as a person, we always have to do that. So that's what I'm going to try to hit tonight. So let's get to the first one. Now, there's a few of my other videos that are mixed in here, but most of them have to do with that opinions video. This first one, though, is keep or cancel the Amex Gold Card. We just talked about that. So TH33 Volter 3 said, I downgraded, and in a year, green will either be kept or gone. Gold is definitely gone. And I think that's the same sentiment I was expressing, is that the gold it's a good card. And I think the credits are usable. They take a little work, but they're very usable. And it's a wash, at least on that card, if you use the credits, but it just didn't have a place. It had no utility in my wallet. So that was what it was for me. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Background balloon. Nice. Did a history minor with my undergrad degree, and I'm considering going for a PhD one day. Not sure where my topic of interest would fit, but I could see history being possible. Yeah. If it's for fun, that's pretty I love history. I sit and watch the History Channel. I watch YouTube history. If I'm not watching Points and Miles, I'm watching that. But I will tell you, the job feels really hard to get a higher ed job in that if person hasn't been doing it a long time. So just keep that in mind. But if it's for personal fulfillment, personal growth, personal knowledge, I think there's nothing funner than a PhD if you can survive the dissertation, because my dissertation took me years and years. And at the university where I attended, it was wow. It's a slog. And dissertations, I mean, that's why they give people or they call them ABD. Have you ever seen that? PhD, ABD. That means all but dissertation. And that's why almost every professor you see has, if you look on their CV, or that's their resume, if you look on their CV, they have a master's in the exact same field from the same university. They have a PhD. And that's because they issue, when you finish your coursework, they issue you a master's. Even in a field like at my university, they didn't have a master's in my exact field of PhD, but they still give you a master's, one that you can't just go take a master's degree in, because I think they told me 60% of PhD students don't finish their dissertation. So that's the hardest part of it, is just getting through the dissertation. So good luck with it, though. That it is very personally fulfilling. FLX, I thought it was a great video and enjoyed watching it. I agreed with most of your perspectives. I appreciate that. Any suggestions on Paris? Taking a train to Paris after our cruise to stay 3 days? Yeah. Make sure that you know that you're going to go hungry, because, man, that's the thing. I love Paris. We've enjoyed it. We've been there twice. We've enjoyed it. We went once just to go to Paris and see everything, the Louvre and Eiffel Tower and all that. And then we went to Disney Paris. And the only thing about Paris is that people don't eat. So a Southern boy like me is starving to death over there, because you order a $50 meal and you get 3 scallops and 2 asparagus spears. It looks pretty though, but I went hungry there. So I had to run into McDonald's or something at the end of every day just to sate my appetite. So Chad, if you're flying into CDG, you can take the RER to Gare Nord, and there are some good eateries right at the train station and in the immediate area. Okay, good advice for them. Oh, by the way, Chad, I did find a premium economy flight actually on Delta. We were looking at that together. Thank you. Joker, haha, cool name. I'm debating closing some cards. Same, then deciding should I aim at Amex or Citi. Already got Built Obsidian, and honestly don't like the earning options for Chase with all Built is offering right now. Yeah, I mean, why? Why do Chase? But if you've got the Obsidian and you want to do Amex or Citi, well, the gold card is going to earn more than the 3.5 you're getting or whatever if you're utilizing your mortgage with Built. And so that might be an option. Citi, I mean, Citi has custom caches all day, so that it's never a bad idea if you can also get one of their cards to transfer out to partners. So I think those are good options. FLX says, you think the job market is tough for PhD in history? Try having one in sociology. Okay. Yeah. It's tough. Higher ed's tough right now. Free music. I'm trying to decide what to do with my Amex Gold when it renews in June. Keep it, work that credits, downgrade to the green, and hope for an upgrade offer at the end of the year, or cancel. It depends. If it doesn't hurt you to do the credits, if it's not a pain to you, I mean, the card is a wash. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a wash, because you get back more in the credits than you do, than you pay for the annual fee. So I don't know. You just have to decide what works for you. Chad says, chances are if you come in from a cruise, that will be the train station you'll come into as well. There's great food in that district. All right. I'm going to try to burn through some of these quick so we can get to some of these contrarian comments that were great. Vincent Pascal, channel member. My advice about pursuing a graduate or professional degree: make sure you have a continuous stream of income to support you while in school. That's great advice. Absolutely. I did it while I was working, so it worked out for me. Mike Newland, Luke's members only video today was great. If you're a member, watch it. I watched it and it was good. It was really good. Official Chad's Money Minutes. Chad says, Saint Germain, again, giving more advice. Have the Moulin Rouge over there as well. So more advice about Paris. Chad says you get bigger portions in the Maris district as most of the international food offerings are there. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about. Hey, Gary, good to see you. Point CFO, agree with your controversial in that video. Need to have your points tank full. You need to be fill your tank when points are on sale, Gary. Yeah, thanks, Gary. Appreciate it. Robert says, I told my wife you said that last week. Okay, I'm not sure what you're referencing, but okay. Bop, better late than never. Hey, Jimmy, good to have you here. And then Jimmy dropped a $4.99 super chat, super sticker. Thank you, Jimmy. I appreciate it very much. Gary says, what is the role of the Amex Green Business Card except as a place to move if you miss the cancel window in the Amex Business Platinum? Does it have any effective positive value? Just as an upgrade possibility, but they seem to not be doing that like they were. Servicio, a card doesn't have to have an effective annual fee, subjective eyes, for it to be valuable. Well, I think that's true. All right, let's get to some of these. This was on my credits. This is a very contrarian criticism, and so I wanted to share it. This was when I was doing hotel credits, and I did a tier list of best to worst hotel cards, including the ones that give credits and the ones that give free night certs. And Jim GD4 said, you took multiple cards whose hotel credits more than offset the annual fees without even considering the card's other credits and put them in B tier. No logic involved here. Anyone can make a video. I suppose anybody can. I'll defend my choices there, though, by saying that, yes, I put like the Bonvoy Boundless card, and I put the Hyatt World of Hyatt card and IHG card. I put those in B tier because, yes, they do more than pay for themselves. But I guess I'm tired of just having cards that pay for themselves. I'm much more interested in the cards that give me back much more. So to me, a card that just pays for itself for a little bit more, and what I get out of those credits ends up being about $200. I mean, that seems to be like what a Cat 4 property is now with Hyatt. I mean, it's about a $200 value. So, you know, it's cost $95. I'm getting back another $100. That's good. That's why it's B tier. But I just don't think they deserve to be higher than that. But Jim, if you're listening, I appreciate you sharing, because like I said, I can be wrong. All right, here we go. The unpopular opinions video. And this is the one I was talking about. I couldn't believe it. But the most controversial thing I said is that Delta Comfort Plus is not an upgrade. Because I hear that all the time. Delta, I get upgraded all the time on Delta with my silver status or with my gold status. I was platinum status for the last several years with Delta and flew them a lot. And I maybe got 3 upgrades because, I sat in Comfort Plus like all the time. Because if you're platinum, you get moved to Comfort Plus the day after. But let me be very clear. I think people are misunderstanding me here, because like Lenora Wade, and I appreciate what she's saying here, says, I agree with you, except I'm often upgraded first on Delta with Maine, and I'm only silver status. That can happen. But it's on very untraveled routes, routes that aren't busy. I know travel to Birmingham, which is not busy, but from DFW, MLB last month, Turks and Caicos was upgraded to first. Thanks for your valuable insights. Well, thank you, Lenora. And I'm not saying you'll never get upgraded. I'm currently Platinum Pro with American, and I've been Platinum with United, and I've been Platinum with Delta. And one year I was that same level with all 3 of them. And I'm telling you, the upgrades are not what they were. But when I say upgrade, the reason that I have that opinion is not that, let me be very clear. I like Comfort Plus. I think it's a great product. But Delta markets it in a way that to me is disingenuous when they call it an upgrade. Because like with Platinum or Platinum Pro with American, you get put into main cabin extra seats, which are exactly the same as Comfort Plus seats, except there's no curtain making it a separate cabin. That's the only difference. And American gives you that when you book. You don't have to wait a day or 3 days or whatever to get upgraded to a seat that their competitors, United does the same, that their competitors give you for free. That is not an upgrade. It's a better economy seat. It's a better economy seat. It's a good economy seat. I like it a whole lot better than riding in the back, but it's just a semantics thing. It's the terminology. It's just I think it gives the wrong impression when we tell people I'm silver status or I'm gold status, and I'm upgraded 65% of the time. And you're meaning Comfort Plus. When if you had that same status on American, you'd be upgraded 100% of the time. 100. And same with United, because it's just a repackaged, it's like putting a different bow on it. It's just a repackaged premium economy seat or main cabin extra seat. It's just an economy seat with, they give you drinks, they give you better snacks, and they give you more legroom. That's what it is. But man, you would have thought I dropped a bomb with how passionate people are about Delta Comfort Plus. And I like it too, but yeah, it was crazy. FLX, I wanted to thumbs down Jim's comment. It's just not nice. Yeah, that's all right. No big deal. Nick says, I'm with FLX. All right. Free Music says Chase Sapphire and Venture X have primary CDW. Amex cards give you primary CDW for $14.95 per rental period for up to so many days. Yeah, that's true. That's why I do use my Chase Sapphire Preferred for that singular purpose, which is to rent cars and then to keep it to transfer out all these Chase points I still got. Background balloon, LOL, no logic. You're putting them in B tier for having enough credits to just break even is fair. Yeah, to me, it's not bad. B tier is not bad. I grade people, and I don't think a B is bad, right? If it's a reasonable course, it's saying it's not exceptional, but it's certainly not subpar, right? And so to me, that's why I thought it was a fair place to put them. Chad says, I beg to differ. Through personal experience, I found silver to be the sweet spot across routes as fewer people organically spend their way to it. Okay. Do you actually get upgrades to first, Chad? I'm going to believe you. I know you're a road warrior. So it's just, maybe it's where I fly out of, but I did get Comfort Plus a lot, but real upgrades to first class, not very often. Background balloon. I think the funny part about Economy Plus is that I feel like I just saw a video on economics behind things like Economy Plus is the least valuable seat for the customer. It is if you pay for it, but I've never paid for one. I'm getting put in that seat. But yeah, I know it's the price. They want $79 because if I fly United, I have nothing with them anymore. And they want $79 to move to that seat. I ain't doing that on a domestic flight. No way. Stacy, good to have you here, Stacy. I will fly premium economy or economy plus all day domestically. Yep, I will too. I'm just saying it's not an upgrade. That's all I'm saying. It's a better economy seat. That's the thing. It's a terminology thing. Like I said, this is just, man, it got people passionate. Charvicio, I see the video too. Economy Plus is the worst value for the consumer by a lot. Okay. Nick, I wouldn't consider Economy Plus an upgrade, but that's only because at 6'4", I'm either flying Economy Plus or not flying at all. I'm 6'2", so I get it. Gary says, my core, I'm just focused on Palladium for 2X, other JAL and Hyatt, Summit for titanium, upgrade to first, 5X on restaurants with Prestige, 3X with Chase Business Preferred, and 4X software category Amex Business Gold. Yeah, that is a in-game setup. That is an advanced setup. Especially you're with me and Dim. We're the three musketeers of having the Prestige card. Good to have another one on board. Background balloon. I'll take an upgrade to Economy Plus if it's there, but I'm not going out of my way to pay for it or to get status for the upgrade. Yep. And if you book last minute, if you're like the last person to book, you're probably going to get it for free anyway. Lenora says, my upgrade was on first, not Comfort Plus. No, I'm not upgraded all the time, but it happens. Okay, cool. I'm glad the routes you fly make that happen. And that is an upgrade. I mean, if you say I'm put in the front of the plane in first class, that is an upgrade for sure. Thank you, Lenora, for your comment, by the way. Thank you for your comment on the video. Chad says, yes, I was referring to first class upgrades. Yep. I'm not saying first class is not an upgrade, of course. I'm simply saying, I mean, I hear creators and others who say, I get upgraded 65, 75, 85% of the time. And they're talking about being silver or gold. And I'm platinum and I didn't get upgraded 10% of the time. So I know they've got to mean they're calling Comfort Plus an upgrade. A B is above average, is good or above average. Yep, that's exactly right. But I'm sorry, but the World of High card is not the Hilton Aspire. I mean, there's just there's a scale there, right? Gary says, I do get first upgrades on Alaska 70% of the time as a titanium. Yeah, as a titanium. I can see that. And Alaska, I hear it's a little bit better. We'll see now that more people are getting it, though. Background balloon B tier is a good card, but it's not mind-blowingly good. I agree. Chad says, to be transparent, I'm speaking in reference to the past few years, so I can honestly concede your point that things have become worse lately. Yeah, I think so. In fact, I'm going down to platinum with American this next year because I'm not getting the upgrades anyway. And platinum, less effort, less spend to get there, and it gives me my main cabin extra seats that I want. So it's good enough. All right, here's another one. Okay, Mike Newland, who's in here right now, just gifted those 10 channel memberships. Great friend of the channel and supporter. Disagreed with me on one of my points. He said, points hoarding is financially irrational. Points constantly devalue, so the optimal strategy is earn and burn. Mike, thank you for saying that so kindly and politely. And I appreciate your point of view. And I do see that. I do see that for many, many, many people, that is the right piece of advice. I guess that what my unpopular opinion isn't that everybody should hoard. That's not, I mean, that would be absolutely irrational. It's not that people should hoard, everybody should hoard. But generally, when people say things in the points and miles world, it's like extremist, right? So they'll say, you should always earn and burn. Well, if I earn and burn my points and are booking everything a year out, and then I find tomorrow, like happened to me this year, I was wanting to fly business class, and then it went in 2 days, it dropped from 175K to 75K, and I had to book it the day before. Well, if I didn't have that pool of points, I couldn't have gotten that deal. So that's all that and Mike, I absolutely think you're right. For the vast majority of situations and times, I guess what I'm arguing against is the all or nothing extreme, this is always true thing. In this world of points and miles, there is no absolutes that are always applicable to everybody because we all travel different, we all do it different, and we all have different goals, objectives. We all have different spend. We all have different time off. We all have different schedules. So there's not an absolute principle. There are general principles that are generally true, but not absolute. So thank you, Mike, for that comment. I appreciate you, and I appreciate the way that you expressed it. Thank you so much. Okay, we got that comment from chat. Oh, by the way, we got 66 watching. 34 have hit the like button. Gary said, just took international flight, buying tax-free in Japan, using Summit at 3x without a cap for non-US purchases is insane, especially for luxury goods. Just choose local currency at checkout. Yeah, I mean, I suppose you could do that with Built also, because the Built Palladium is going to give the 3x if you're doing it a certain way. But I have heard they're charging, and it seems to be accidental, a slight transaction fee. Was it Point Shifu, I think, who talked about that I saw his video. So yeah, but yeah, that Summit card you're getting, but with that card, different than Built, even though you could transfer your points over, that card's giving you status points, which is certainly good. Free music. You should always have enough points to book a last minute bargain award seat for flights you currently have booked. That's what I'm trying to argue for sure. Point CFO, I think the point is to do speculative transfers when there is a bonus. My use last month got 2.25 JAL for each point as a top tier Built. I stand by that. Yeah, that's a great speculative transfer. And yeah, that was another one of my opinions in there, that sometimes speculative transfers make sense. Servicio, I only earn between 40 and 50K points between Built and Wells Fargo. A lot of people like me don't have the income or spend to burn. So some of us have to hoard for at least a year or two. Everyone isn't a high earner. That's a great point too, Servicio. Thank you. Because there are folks, it's funny because people at the high end of the spectrum that are earning hundreds of thousands or millions of points, they would have uses to have a pile of points. But then you've given us an illustration of a different scenario where a person has to build them up to get to the redemption they want. That is an absolutely fantastic observation. Nick says there's a time and place for hoarding points. Collecting points like Pokemon without using them makes no sense. That's true. If your objective is just to have more points, then you're losing the game. That's not a reasonable objective. Background balloon. In my opinion, airline hotel points would be better used on an earn and burn strategy, but transferable currencies that can be redeemed for cash back would be better in the middle. Yeah. I mean, that's a good way of looking at it, because you always got that backup option that has real world value, right? Real money value. And then free music. I got an email today from Built that said they're addressing the problem with foreign transaction fees. Good. It was tiny. It was a mess up. I mean, did we expect Built not to have any more mess ups? So by the way, my big, I sent early my mortgage payment, went through great. I hope everybody's is working out good on that as well. So that was a relief. All right, we got about 8 minutes, and then Nona's going to be on my case about taking her to our celebration for City Nights. Again, another comment from Caldair says, Comfort Plus, here it is again, is good for two things: getting dedicated bag space, guaranteeing extra legroom aisle over the overnight flights. I don't need either. Then put me in an exit row window all day. Yeah, and like I said, I think I must not have communicated well, because I wasn't saying I don't think Comfort Plus has value or that I don't like it. I like it a lot. Just saying it's not appropriate to call it an upgrade. That's all I'm saying. Comfort Plus has got its values, no doubt, just like Main Cabin Extra and all the others. All right, let's see. We got 70 watching. That's awesome. Hit the like button, please. If you haven't subscribed, of course, please do so. Gary says, with all these card fee increases, you can really get ahead of having fewer cards to concentrate spend, overcome fees. But Amex caps my 4X category business gold at $150K a year. Yeah, I mean, they want big spenders, but they don't want really big spenders. That's kind of how it works out. Okay, this was on last minute redemptions, and Emmy, I appreciated this comment, so I wanted to share it. Emmy said, I did a booking today at your influence. That's kind of, as an influencer, that kind of makes you feel good. Not a last minute booking, but same principle applies. I made a backup booking as a result of the conflict in the Middle East, business class on GEL with miles transferred from Rove, 50% bonus. Bought the miles by finding 2 hotel stays that have 54x multiplier and used Rove Boost to get up to 64x. With the transfer I got at miles a bonus. I got the miles at 0.9 cents per point. Yeah, I mean, and those are worth a lot more than that. So that, Emmy, I'm glad it worked out for you. That's exactly what I'm saying. If you don't have a stash of points, that's difficult. Those kind of things are difficult to do. I will warn everybody, though, you got to make sure that the original booking is something that you can cancel for free. So, all right. Background Balloon says, granted, I have just under 210,000 HG points. I'm still hoarding. I just haven't had the PTO and the money for a trip. I do have a trip in mind to redeem them, just not enough money, paid time off. Okay. Yeah, that's that. I mean, that's a natural reason to hoard for sure. Stacy, go Emmy. Rove wins. Make me happy. Yep. Rove is pretty cool. I haven't gotten into it yet, but Rove is a pretty cool situation. All right, my step-by-step process. This was another video that didn't do very well, but I just walked through, and I got this idea from Key. We were going to do this as part of our joint live that we did, but we didn't get around to it. So I just did a video on my process of, where I start, on booking a trip, what step-by-step process I take. And DGASMD1 said, good video. I personally think the most overlooked portion of the whole thing is being flexible. Nearly impossible to book anything on points if you are not, regardless of multipliers and cards. Unlike you, the money I find and book sometimes I can live with. I don't look back. Extra labor can be a huge joy killer in my mind. Yeah, I mean, there's a balance, right? There's a balance between effort. I mean, I looked at a hotel booking that we're doing, and it's not that great. I mean, it's like 1 cent per point, but we want to stay at that hotel. I mean, so I get it. I guess the thing for me is that if I'm booking out, and if I can find through some of these strategies, find a better deal along the way, then I want to be able to trade up. That's what it comes down to. I want to be able to trade up. All right. Gary says, surprised influencers are not talking about the new Amex business goal, 2x purchases over 5K. Very good, since Built and Robinhood don't allow taxes and business charges. Yeah, that's right. If you've got to pay quarterly taxes, that is very good. Very, very good. All right, we got about 3 minutes left, so I'm going to get to another one. DC Consulting, who's often here on the channel, he had a different take. Big agreement on everything. We used to stay at hostels and fly economy. Yesterday, I flew in a business suite to Hawaii, Seattle to NRT on Hawaiian, for $494, the same price I used to pay when flying economy. I'm staying this week at the Hilton Colombo, and with free breakfast and free snacks at the executive lounge. Barely costs more than a hostel and restaurants. Status and credit cards make this possible while still paying cash. Yeah. That's what it's all about to me, to level up your life. I mean, Nona and I would travel without points and miles, but man, we get to travel better because of points and miles. That's absolutely the case. All right, let's see if we can get one more in. This is Chad. Chad's been in here. Chad's still in here, I think. Well, I hope so. But Chad made this comment. He said, I'm fairly sure that the effective moniker has perpetuated because people always love to forget the time value of money. If I'd pay with $100 and get back 90, and that's an effective $10 transaction. However, if I pay $100 and hope that I can potentially recoup $90 in value over the course of a year, the only thing I've effectively done is liberated $100 from my wallet. Yes. So if in theory you can get back most of the annual fee, then that's not a real return. It's got to be in practice. So, Chad, we're on the same page 100%. Philip is here from Points with Philip. You're right here at the end, Philip, just getting ready to wrap up. But he says, hey, friends, what's up? Good to have you here, Philip. If you haven't checked out Philip's channel, man, he's got lots and lots of great content. So check that out. All right, any more comments? I don't think so. So one more. Again, unpopular opinions, and looks like Randoon the Internet says, not wrong, but all the nuances but not all nuances are considered. That's a fair point. My counterpoint for CPP can matter is that it's sometimes not limited to one trip versus multiple ones. Good point. But it can be the difference of making the trip or not. My wife and I's schedule is flexible, but our kids are not. So I'm always traveling where the cent per point is on the lousy side. I try to diminish that by booking as early as possible. It's still high season. Effective annual fee is often skewed. The community will use the word effective, but rarely subtract the annual fee from the final total. I agree with all the rest. So thank you. I appreciate that. None of that's wrong. I mean, there are nuances to it. And hey, if you have a very limited schedule and it's when things are going to be expensive, so you're going to have a low cent per point, then your options are to have a low cent per point or not to travel. And the second's just not acceptable for people of us who are passionate about this stuff. So I agree with that 100%. All right. Well, I got to wrap this up because city nights are calling and Nona's waiting. So I got to take her out. But thank you, everybody. Like I said, my travel schedule is just crazy this month. So I'm just going to have to fit in lives when I can. But I appreciate, we had about 70 people in here at one point. We had some really supportive folks, great questions, great comments. And even the comments that were somewhat critiquing what I have to say, I appreciate it. I really do, because I want to always be growing. Jimmy Duff gave a $4.99 super chat, super sticker. And Mike Newland, great friend of the channel, gifted 10 Rewards Master memberships. And I know some of you were blessed and benefited from that. Thank you all for being here. And hopefully you have a great weekend. And I will see you here in the near future.